Good yontif, everybody. I have a true story that I have been waiting to tell you since Hanukkah last year, December 2019. The timing had to be right. We needed to be seated together in a sacred space at a sacred time on the holiest day of the year. This is not how I imagined sharing this story with you. It's not what I planned. I really wanted us to be together as the synagogue family and friends that we are. And like everything else in these times, my deep desire to orchestrate and control can't be realized. Okay, the story. Back in December, around the holidays, we had a meeting scheduled with our Beth Executive Committee and a few members of our Finance Committee to consult with Beth member Randy Frank about how we might establish a rainy day fund, a nest egg. We didn't have one at the time, and the time was right in our history to establish such a fund that would help ensure Beth Am's viability for our children and the next generation. Before our committee meeting, I stopped in my office, and on my desk was a gift bag. It was a Starbucks bag with a gift card, and there was also an envelope. In the envelope was a check and a Post-it note. I walked into the meeting, and I showed them the check and read the note. Silence. No words. The first words that did emerge were, "We can't accept this gift." That we were all in agreement on. So I returned to my office to call the gift giver. The phone rings, and she picks up. Nothing but laughter from both of us for a good minute. And then she says, "I thought you might be calling me tonight." Let's just breathe for a minute. Now, before I continue with the story, I want to read you the note that was attached to the check. Rabbi Lisa, God spoke to me to empty out our church savings account that we have had for the past 15 years, hoping to have our own church building one day, and give it to you, our Jewish family, Beth Am. So here it is. It's our obedience to God speaking, and with our love and honor for you, Pastor. The pastor of Whitestone Church, who rented our space in our building at 225 McHenry for years on Sunday afternoon, heard an inner voice back in December 2018 when she came to Beth Am to deliver the annual holiday gifts to the office staff and to me. While here, she hugged the office staff and she felt so happy and grateful to be visiting Beth Am. Noticing the beauty of our space, she felt the holiness that is Beth Am called to her. It was then that she heard the Lord's voice. She explained to me the Lord had told her to give us, Beth Am, their entire church building savings. And as she tells me the story, she said, "I wasn't sure I heard the Lord right." She prayed on this and continually asked God if this was what God wanted her to do. And 1 year later, December 2019, she delivered her gift in a Starbucks gift bag. All the money from their church building fund for the last 15 years. And friends, she apologized to me that it took her a year to fulfill the mission. The gift, $100,000. Whitestone Church gave us a gift of $100,000 right before we were to meet about how we might fundraise for a Beth future. After a few minutes settling into our phone call, I knew that this check was to be received just as it was given, with love and deep gratitude. I asked the pastor, "Did the Lord happen to mention to you what we should do with this money?" She laughed as if that was a ridiculous question and said, "No, it's not my money. I gave it to the Lord, who has given it to you. It's yours. It's not up to me." She went on, "You, Beth, have extended grace to us. The toddlers who came to church when we began at 225 North McHenry are now 18 and 19 years old. Each Sunday since they were toddlers, they have given of their own money that they might one day see a Whitestone Church building. But God had other plans for us." She continued, "My spirit is so joyful and privileged for us to do this, and I am thankful that it is you." She explained, "Beth is of chesed." And yes, she said the Hebrew word chesed, which means love and kindness. She went on, "Chesed is God's loving covenant. Beth has covenanted with us. You are Israel, our older brother, and we are your little brothers. We are grateful to you, grateful we can do something. You," she went on, "tried to do something as well. You have fulfilled the dreams of those who came before you, and I wish I had $1 million to give you. You have showed us chesed. We don't have much, but we are very rich." And so the pastor set out to do what she calls the Lord's will, and we are the blessed recipients. For those who do not know or might not remember, when Whitestone Church asked to rent our space at 225 McHenry, the leadership of the congregation said, yes, of course. We didn't charge much rent. They had been searching for a place they could afford, which was not much. And we, of all the churches and the synagogues they sought to rent, we were the only ones who opened our doors and said, "Come, we have plenty of room. You will celebrate, and there will be more joy in this building and all around us." Rather than landlords, we saw ourselves as neighbors. We offered chesed, love and kindness. There's more. Every month for years now, Beth has received from them a tithe check from their Sunday worship donations. And not only this, we are in their prayers at every one of their services, that God might show us chesed, love, kindness, compassion, and that we might continue to bring that into the world. And friends, we have also received a large anonymous donation over the last several years that helps sustain us. I can only imagine that this donation, too, is because of who we are and what we do. The psalmist writes, "The world is built with chesed, loving kindness." The cornerstone of the Beth community is rooted in the mitzvah of chesed, of love, and it is what the world needs now. Loving kindness isn't passive. Love is a passionate acting with kindness and decency and an open heart. Love, chesed, happens when we are moved in such a way that we cannot help but give, that we cannot help but participate in the construction of a better world, not for any reward or personal gain, but because it is who we are and how we choose to live in this world. and it is particularly difficult right now to maintain the course of chesed, if I am being truly honest. We are in pain. We are angry. We are impatient. There is torment, and we, in many ways, feel stuck. There is such a division in this country. There's so much suffering. Chesed might not cure the wounds, the dis-ease, the suffering, but it can bring a healing of spirit, and ultimately, it is what will heal the world. May Whitestone's act of chesed be for us a sustaining and abiding blessing. May the Lord bless Whitestone and the pastor, that they may receive boundless and abundant blessing. May the work that we do and the chesed that we bring to us, to our community and the world be eternal, and may it be for healing and transformation. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be true.